Am I the asshole for not defending my wife when my sister called her fat? My sister, 27-year-old female, was visiting my wife and me the other day. An important thing to note about my sister is that she has a child with her now ex-boyfriend. When my sister found out she was pregnant, she told her then boyfriend that she was pregnant. He wanted to marry her in a shotgun wedding of sorts, but my sister said no. The only information she offered up was that there was no way they would be compatible in the long term, and I didn't think it was any of my business to probe or question her about it. Soonly after, my sister and her boyfriend broke up, but they established a healthy co-parenting relationship and both now have 50-50 custody with stable, well-paying jobs and live close by to each other. My wife strongly thinks that my sister should have gotten married and hates that my sister refers to her ex-boyfriend as her baby daddy. I don't think my sister really cares that she had a child out of wedlock, but every time my wife meets my sister, she brings up the fact that she should try to get her boyfriend back and asks him to propose again and asks why she doesn't want to marry him, especially since my sister has been single these past 5 years. It has gotten to the point that she has told me privately that she is fed up with this and had asked me to speak to my wife about this, which I have. The other day, my sister visited my wife and I at our house. We were having a normal conversation, and my sister was talking about her son entering kindergarten and all the things she was doing to prepare him. The convo seemed pretty mundane until my wife once again brought up that my sister should try to get married at the courthouse with her ex-boyfriend and that the other parents would view her as immature and would think of her child as illegitimate if she didn't. Before I could even jump in and say anything to defuse the situation, my sister was raging and said that my wife should worry about her fat self and loosen 100 pounds before worrying about her child, and that a ring can't hide her triple chin, and to worry less about her going to the courthouse and more about the gym. My wife has always been on the bigger side, and I absolutely love and adore her, but it is her one biggest insecurity. She ended up sobbing while my sister grabbed her things and left. This whole argument took around 2 minutes, and I froze up and didn't really know what to do. After my sister left, my wife asked why I didn't say anything to defend her to my sister. I was honest and I said I thought she was wrong for calling my sister immature and her child illegitimate, while I acknowledged it was wrong for my sister to make the comments she did. I don't think they were completely unprovoked. My wife is now giving me the silent treatment. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Man, his wife had that coming though.
It's the Kenny D Show.
Would I be the asshole if I called the police on my mom for robbing me? Today, my mom came to watch my kids while I had my chemotherapy appointment at the hospital. She quickly left after I got back. I would have liked for her to stay for a while because I'm not at my best, but at least my kids had supervision when I needed it. The problem is, when I got home, my daughter was hungry. I'm not sure if she wasn't fed lunch or just hungry like usual. She kept looking in the fridge over and over. I went to help her get a snack because I had stocked the fridge yesterday with a lot of groceries, including easy to eat prepared foods. Every single thing was gone. Mom must have bagged up all the groceries and took them home. I didn't even have milk or apple juice for my kids. I called her several times and she isn't picking up. I called my brother, who doesn't live with her, and he said he will speak to her and get back to me. He's pissed. Should I call the police? I'm really thinking about it because it's several $100s of groceries I needed for the week, and being so close to Christmas, it's hard financially to replace this stuff.
It's the Kenny D Show.
Am I the asshole for not answering the door after my neighbor kept borrowing things? I lived in the same apartment for about 2 years, and my next door neighbor is friendly enough. We aren't friends, but we chat if we run into each other. Over the last few months, they started knocking on my door to borrow random stuff. It started with things like a phone charger or a screwdriver, no big deal. Then it became laundry detergent, eggs, trash bags, batteries, tape, paper towels. Basically, whenever they were out of something, they'd knock on my door first. The weird part is they almost always brought the item back if it wasn't something disposable. So it's not like they were stealing from me. It just got to the point where I would hear a knock and immediately wonder what they needed this time. Last weekend, they knocked while I was home watching TV. I looked through the peephole, saw it was them, and I just didn't answer. I honestly didn't feel like having another can I borrow conversation. About 20 minutes later, I got a text from them saying, I know you're home, your TV is pretty loud. I felt awkward, so I admitted later that I had seen them but just wanted a quiet evening to myself. Now they're barely speaking to me, and another neighbor joked that I could have just taken 30 seconds to help someone out. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I also wonder if I handled this badly. Am I the asshole for not answering my door?
It's the Kenny D Show.
Am I the asshole for refusing to accept blame for my stepsister's accident? My parents are divorced and they have me, 16-year-old male, as their only kid. My dad's still single, but my mom's married again. Her husband has a 10-year-old daughter, so my stepsister. I split time equally between my parents. I'm at mom's house for a week, then I go to my dad the other week, and then I switch back over. My relationship with my dad is better. Mom's has always been a little too demanding. One thing that has pissed people off is she texts me during school and expects me to answer. She asks me to do stuff for her, and I could be in the middle of class. My dad and most of my teachers encouraged me to let her know my phone is going on silent until I was finished for the day, and I started doing it. My mom even called school before to say they needed to get me to text her back or call her, and I wish I was joking, but I'm not. Stuff she'll ask for me to pick up milk at the store on my way home or to pick up takeout that she ordered, and since she got married again, it might be to walk my stepsister from school or to take her somewhere. I don't drive, so mom gets me to do it by walking. She made me stand outside my sister's basketball practice for an hour once because she insisted I had to go pick her up before going to her house. Back in April, I had an after school stuff and I kept my phone on silent and didn't check because I didn't want to deal with mom saying she needed me to pick up something or whatever. When I was finished, I saw my mom had text and said I needed to pick my stepsister up from some Girl Scout camping thing. Then there was a call I missed and a voice note where my mom was screaming at me because they got a call that my stepsister had been knocked down by a bike and was at the hospital. I get to mom's house and nobody was there, so I just do my homework and wait. Mom gets home a few hours later and tells me my stepsister walked on her own because nobody came to pick her up and she wasn't being careful and got run over. And that she was too young to walk alone. I told mom it wasn't my fault and it made my mom blow a fuse because she thought I should feel more bad or whatever. We argued over how she knows I have after school stuff and she said family should take priority over anything else. She chewed out dad for signing with the school on the phone thing and he chewed her out for blaming me. Now every time I'm at her house, we fight, and she told me I should be ashamed for my lack of feeling bad. Her husband is 100% on her side, and he's an ass anyway, so that doesn't surprise me. My stepsister broke one of her legs, and she has damage done to her other knee, and it's likely a long-term forever thing. But I don't feel like it's my fault when I never agreed to pick her up. They just didn't plan better. My mom keeps saying it's disgusting that I keep defending myself over this. Am I the asshole?
It's the Kenny D Show.
I'm the asshole for saying it's not my problem if my ex and her husband can't afford their kids. I, 30 Mel, was married to Marion, and we have a son together who's now 8. When Marion was pregnant, I found out she was cheating on me with James. James had a girlfriend who was pregnant at the same time. When my son was born, we needed a DNA test to find out if I was his father or James was. As Marion's husband, I was the legal father, and that made it easier when the DNA results showed he was actually mine, because she fought to name James his father. Things were toxic. James was there for everything in the later pregnancy and the birth, and Marion told me nothing. Her parents were the ones who gave me info on when my son was born so I could file with the courts for a DNA test, and custody of our son's births was also when our divorce could proceed. James's ex ended up giving him custody of their daughter, and so they had her full time and my son 50% of the time. A year and a half later, they had a daughter together. At this point, they have James's daughter and 4 children together. And I had won custody of my son 3.5 years ago because in order to force more money out of me, they wouldn't feed him enough and let him wear dirty old clothes. And I only paid child support because I earned more than Marion. But we had an equal parenting time back then. So now Marion sees our son every other weekend. My son is in therapy to help him with all the mess he's witnessed and been a part of in some way in his young life. Marion was also ordered to pay a small amount of child support, but she only paid a few times. She always uses the excuse that she can't afford it, and that might be true. I never push it because I can take care of my son on my own without her. For the last 2.5 years, Marion has looked to me to buy extra school supplies and share them among the 2 school-age kids. So her stepdaughter and her first daughter with James. I have always ignored these requests and sent my son with supplies and donated a few to his class as requested. I have never bought a single thing for the other children in my ex's household. 2 weeks ago, my son had a small surgery and Marion showed up. Marion brought up the school supply issue and asked me to please be decent about this and get supplies for her girls because they couldn't afford them. She told me they struggle to support the kids they have as it is, and then their other kids suffer. I tried to move away from her, but she followed me to another table. So I told her I don't care if you can't afford your other kids. I told her that her other children are not my responsibility and she needs to figure out something else. I told her she already denied our kid food to try and get money out of me, and she lost most of her time with them as a result, and my priority was my kid, not the kids she keeps having. I told her I would not discuss it with her again, and I haven't, but she has sent me many messages through the co-parenting app the courts have ordered us to use, where she calls me an asshole and not a good dad to our kid. My lawyer knows. He tells me to keep ignoring her, and for those who might wonder, this will not remove her visitation with him. It was difficult enough to get primary custody